This here is the last Conjuring movie, The Conjuring, Last Rites, sometimes mistakenly called Lost Lights, and it's one hell of a way to go out. It's the story of the Smurl haunting, which took place in the 1980s in Pennsylvania, where a family was tormented by violent supernatural forces after bringing a mysterious mirror into their home. When the Warrens hear about the case, they travel to Pennsylvania to investigate, but what they find there will be unlike anything they have ever seen before. In this movie, we get a lot more of Lorraine's visions, which are kind of like premonitions or dreams that show her different aspects of a case, and this time, she has some trouble waking up from them. So that's fun. She and Ed also have to deal with the fact that their daughter Judy is now a teenager and has inherited her mother's gift of seeing things other people can't. It's adorable until demons start using it against her. The thing is, though, even though Lorraine sees some scary stuff, the main focus of the film is still very much on the family. They get a lot of development and screen time, which is nice. We see how these horrible events are affecting them emotionally. We really understand why they call the Warrens, because things are getting pretty bad. For example, we see a demon attack the mother, and then later, the father has a scary run-in with a cloaked figure in the woods, which is both terrifying and heartbreaking to see. What's interesting is that we don't know what this cloaked figure is at first, but when we find out later, it makes things so much worse. Another great thing about the movie is that it doesn't just rely on jump scares and gore. Sure, those are present, but it also has a really creepy atmosphere and some really disturbing images. One scene that sticks with me is the possessed daughter drawing a picture of the family's house and then ripping it up. That whole sequence is incredibly unnerving, and you can really feel the tension building. Plus, the movie does a great job of building up suspense. There are some scenes that are genuinely scary, like when the rain goes to the attic or when the demon starts moving around the house, and the ending is truly terrifying, both visually and thematically. It's a fitting conclusion for the series and leaves a lasting impact. I think what makes this movie stand out is the relationship between the characters and the performances. Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne do an amazing job as Ed and Lorraine Warren. You can tell how much they care about each other and how much they love their daughter. Their chemistry is fantastic and their interactions are natural and believable. Plus, the supporting cast is solid too. Sterling Jerrens as Judy Warren gives a really strong performance. She captures the innocence of a child while also showing the darkness that lurks beneath the surface. And the rest of the cast also does a great job bringing these characters to life. And then there's the demon itself. It's not your typical demon. It has its own motivations and backstory, and it's truly terrifying. The way it manifests itself is disturbing, and it's always a step ahead of the Warrens, keeping them on their toes and the audience on the edge of their seats. Now, if you're familiar with the story of the Smurl haunting, you might be wondering how closely the movie follows the real events. Well, the answer is not that closely. The Conjuring series has always taken inspiration from real cases, but it adds its own creative spin to them. And this movie is no exception. So don't expect a documentary-style retelling, but do expect a thrilling and terrifying ride. While the movie is scary and intense, it also has some moments of levity and humor. The relationship between Ed and Lorraine is playful, and their banter is a welcome distraction from the darkness that surrounds them. There are some genuinely funny moments that had me laughing out loud. Plus, there's a sense of hope and redemption that runs through the film. Despite the darkness they face, the Warrens never give up. They believe in each other and their mission, and that belief carries them through. If you've been a fan of the Conjuring series, then this is definitely worth watching. It's a fitting send-off for these beloved characters and a great addition to the franchise. Even if you haven't seen the previous films, this movie can be enjoyed as a standalone story. Just be prepared for some serious scares and an intense emotional journey. However, let's talk about some negatives, because this movie isn't perfect. Some might find the pacing a bit slow at times, especially in the first act. It takes a while for the story to get going, and some might find the build-up to be frustrating. However, once the movie gets going, it doesn't stop, so I personally didn't mind it. Another criticism that could be leveled at the film is that it relies a bit too heavily on the found footage style of filmmaking. There are a few scenes that are shot like shaky cam footage, which can be nauseating and off-putting to some viewers. However, I thought it was used sparingly enough that it didn't take away from the overall experience. And finally, some might find the ending to be a bit too ambiguous. There are some questions that are left unanswered and some plot threads that are never tied up. However, I thought it was a bold move and a fitting end for such a dark and complex story. Plus, it leaves the audience with a lot to think about long after the credits roll. So overall, would I recommend this movie? Absolutely. If you're a fan of the horror genre, then you owe it to yourself to check out this film. It's a terrifying and intense journey that will keep you on the edge of your seat. So grab some popcorn, turn off the lights, and prepare for a night of scares. Just don't blame me when you can't sleep afterwards. As for whether or not The Conjuring will continue after this movie, who knows? Maybe there will be another case for Ed and Lorraine to investigate. But if not, this is a great way to say goodbye to these iconic characters. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. I'll see you next time.